First impressions are the gateway to opportunity, the silent force that determines how others perceive and respond to us in a matter of seconds. Whether in a professional setting, a social encounter, or even a chance meeting, the way we begin an interaction speaks volumes about who we are, long before our intentions or capabilities are fully understood. It's said that people decide how they feel about you within the first few moments of meeting you. That moment, fleeting as it may seem, is the foundation upon which trust, respect, and connection are built or falter. The words you choose to utter as your first interaction can either captivate or diminish that fleeting chance to establish a positive impression. When you lead with a phrase as casual and unassuming as "hi" or "what's up," you inadvertently dilute the power of the moment. These greetings, while commonplace and socially acceptable, lack the depth and intentionality required to make a lasting impact. They are safe, predictable, and neutral, which can often translate as disinterest or complacency. People, whether consciously or subconsciously, crave engagement that feels tailored, specific, and sincere. A rote or generic opener doesn't spark intrigue, it doesn't invite curiosity. It's as if you've left the door slightly ajar but haven't stepped through it yourself to extend a genuine invitation for connection. Consider the energy and confidence that radiates when someone uses an unexpected or thoughtful phrase as their opener. The difference is palpable. When someone bypasses the predictable and opts for something engaging and intentional, it signals effort, presence, and authenticity. It's not just about breaking the norm, but about communicating that you value the interaction enough to approach it differently. These moments are where opportunities to connect more deeply are either nurtured or lost. People remember how you make them feel, and your choice of words at the outset can evoke a range of emotions from curiosity and warmth to indifference or even dismissal. The power of first impressions extends beyond the words themselves. It is also about the energy and confidence with which those words are delivered. A half-hearted "hi" mumbled under one's breath carries a vastly different weight compared to a warm, intentional greeting delivered with poise and conviction. Your demeanor, tone, and choice of language all play a symphonic role in shaping the perception others have of you. And once that perception is formed, it is difficult to alter. This is why it is so crucial to approach every interaction, no matter how brief, with deliberate thought and awareness. Imagine this scenario: you walk into a room filled with new faces, perhaps at a networking event, a job interview, or even a casual gathering. The first person you approach greets you with a generic "hi, how are you?" It's polite, yes, but it doesn't ignite much in terms of emotional response. Now imagine someone else in that same room approaches you, looks you in the eye, and begins with something more specific and engaging, perhaps a comment that acknowledges the environment or expresses genuine interest in you. The impact is immediate. That person, without much effort, has already set themselves apart as someone worth listening to, someone who values meaningful engagement over mere formalities. This isn't to say that every interaction requires a grand or poetic overture. It's about recognizing the difference between connecting on autopilot and being fully present in the moment. When you approach someone with intentionality, it demonstrates respect not just for them but for yourself as well. It says, "I see you and I value this exchange enough to make it count." The beauty of this mindset is that it doesn't just elevate how others see you, it also reinforces your own sense of purpose and presence. Over time, these small yet profound shifts in how you initiate conversations become a part of your character, reflecting your confidence, awareness, and authenticity. There's also a ripple effect that comes with mastering the art of first impressions. When you consistently begin interactions with thoughtfulness and sincerity, it encourages others to do the same. People are drawn to those who inspire them to be their best selves, and the simple act of using meaningful language can have a transformative impact on how people engage with you and, by extension, with others in their lives. It sets a standard, one that invites reciprocity and deeper connections. Your first words in any encounter carry an unspoken message about your intentions and attitude. They reveal in subtle ways whether you are someone who approaches life with enthusiasm and curiosity or someone content to blend into the background. This is why the small decision to avoid the generic in favor of the intentional holds so much weight. It's not just about what you say, but about the commitment to bringing your full self into every interaction. Words possess a magnetic quality, a silent energy that can either draw people closer or create a chasm between you and them. The phrases you choose, especially at the beginning of a conversation, serve as an invisible handshake, a gesture that sets the stage for what's to come. When you start with ordinary and overused expressions like "what's up" or "hi," you lose the opportunity to stand out, to captivate, and to assert your presence with authority. These phrases are placeholders devoid of substance, and they often reflect a lack of effort or creativity. On the other hand, words that are deliberate and chosen with intention carry a weight that commands attention and makes the other person feel seen and valued. Consider the dynamics of human interaction. People respond to energy, and language is one of the most powerful carriers of energy. Generic greetings like "hi" come across as lukewarm, an unremarkable attempt at engagement that often gets lost in the noise of everyday interactions. They fail to spark curiosity or enthusiasm, leaving the recipient with no compelling reason to invest their attention. Attention in today's world is one of the most valuable currencies. By choosing words that are intentional and carry meaning, you signal to others that you respect their time and that you have something worthwhile to contribute. The ability to command attention with words is not just about being different, it's about being impactful. Imagine stepping into a room full of people, each engaged in their own conversations. Your words must act as a beacon, cutting through the chatter and drawing people's focus toward you. When you lead with something thoughtful, intriguing, or meaningful, you create a pause, a moment where the other person becomes fully present, ready to listen and engage. That pause is a powerful thing. It's the space where connection begins, where the walls of indifference crumble, and where you establish yourself as someone worth noticing. Language is one of the most versatile tools at our disposal, yet many fail to use it effectively because they underestimate its potential. Words have the ability to evoke emotions, paint vivid images, and ignite the imagination. When you use words that are rich with intention, you tap into the human desire for connection and understanding. For example, instead of saying "hi," you might begin with a question that immediately engages the other person's mind, such as "what's been the highlight of your day so far?" This not only catches their attention, but also invites them to reflect and share something meaningful. Such an approach turns a mundane interaction into an opportunity for depth and connection. Commanding attention with words also requires an awareness of context and timing. The same phrase that works in one setting might fall flat in another. This is why it's important to be present and attuned to the environment and the person you're speaking with. A well-chosen phrase delivered with authenticity and confidence has the power to transcend cultural and social boundaries, leaving a lasting impression that goes beyond words. When you speak with intention, your words resonate not just in the ears of the listener, but in their mind and heart. There's a psychological principle at play here as well. People are naturally drawn to those who exhibit clarity and purpose in their communication. When your words are deliberate and carry a sense of direction, it creates an aura of confidence around you. This confidence is magnetic. It signals to others that you are someone who knows what they want and isn't afraid to express it. Conversely, when you rely on generic phrases, you risk being perceived as unremarkable, someone who blends into the crowd rather than stands apart. Another aspect of using words to command attention is their rhythm and tone. The way you deliver your opening words can enhance or diminish their impact. A phrase delivered with enthusiasm and a genuine smile can light up a room, while the same phrase spoken in a monotone or distracted manner might go unnoticed. This underscores the importance of being present and fully invested in the moment. The energy behind your words is just as important as the words themselves. People can sense whether you're truly engaged or simply going through the motions, and their response will reflect that perception. The art of commanding attention with words also lies in their unpredictability. Humans are creatures of habit, and we often tune out what feels familiar or predictable. This is why breaking away from the norm can be so effective. When you start a conversation with a phrase that surprises or intrigues the listener, it disrupts their autopilot mode and compels them to pay attention. This element of surprise, when combined with genuine intent, creates a memorable interaction that lingers in the mind long after the conversation has ended. Words that command attention are not necessarily complex or elaborate, they are simply intentional. They are chosen with the understanding that every interaction is an opportunity to connect, inspire, and leave a positive imprint. These words are a reflection of your mindset and your willingness to approach communication as an art form rather than a mere formality. When you speak with intention, you elevate not just the conversation but also the relationship, setting the stage for deeper understanding and mutual respect. In a world filled with fleeting interactions and surface-level connections, the desire for genuine relationships has never been more profound. Yet many of us fall into the trap of starting conversations with predictable phrases that blend into the background of daily life. The result is often uninspiring, making it difficult to stand out or create meaningful engagement. Building connection through uniqueness requires a willingness to step outside the boundaries of conventional dialogue and approach conversations with a sense of curiosity, creativity, and authenticity. It's not just about the words you use, it's about the intention behind them and the ability to make the other person feel truly seen and valued. When you begin a conversation with something as generic as "Hi" or "What's up," it doesn't offer much in terms of emotional depth or personal investment. These phrases are placeholders designed to fill the gap of silence but lacking the power to evoke any real response. On the other hand, starting a conversation with something unique immediately shifts the dynamic. It demonstrates that you've put thought into your words and that you're not just going through the motions. This effort to be different is often the spark that sets the stage for a more memorable and impactful interaction. Uniqueness in communication goes beyond simply avoiding cliches. It's about tapping into what makes you and the other person distinct. When you bring your individuality into a conversation, it encourages others to do the same. It creates an environment where both parties feel comfortable being authentic, which is the foundation of any meaningful connection. For example, instead of saying "What's up?" to someone you're meeting for the first time, you might ask a question tailored to the context of your interaction, such as "What brought you here today?" or "What's something exciting happening in your life right now?" These types of questions not only engage the other person, but also invite them to share something personal, creating a stronger sense of connection. The impact of uniqueness in conversation is amplified when it's paired with genuine interest. People can sense when you're speaking out of obligation versus when you're truly invested in the exchange. When your words reflect curiosity and enthusiasm, they act as an open invitation for the other person to join you in a space of mutual exploration. This is where real connection happens, not in the rehearsed exchanges, but in the moments where two people feel like they're sharing something authentic and unscripted. It's also important to recognize that building connection through uniqueness doesn't mean being overly complex or dramatic in your choice of words. Sometimes, simplicity with a touch of personalization is all it takes to stand out. For instance, addressing someone by their name or referencing a shared experience can make your words feel more intimate and thoughtful. People respond positively to these small gestures because they convey attentiveness and respect. It's a subtle yet powerful way to differentiate yourself from the countless others who rely on routine phrases to navigate their interactions. Uniqueness in conversation also has a way of fostering trust. When you approach someone with words that feel fresh and sincere, it signals that you're present in the moment and not simply repeating a script. This authenticity builds a sense of safety and openness, encouraging the other person to lower their guard and engage with you on a deeper level. Over time, these moments of unique connection can evolve into meaningful relationships, whether they're personal, professional, or even fleeting encounters that leave a lasting impression. Incorporating uniqueness into your conversations doesn't require a complete overhaul of your communication style. It's often about making small but intentional adjustments. For example, instead of defaulting to a question like "How are you?" which often elicits a perfunctory response, you could ask, "What's something that's been bringing you joy lately?" This not only shifts the focus to something positive, but also encourages the other person to share more openly. These subtle changes in language can have a profound impact on the quality of your interactions, transforming them from transactional to truly relational. The beauty of unique communication is that it creates a ripple effect. When you engage someone with thoughtfulness and originality, it inspires them to respond in kind. This exchange of authentic energy elevates the entire interaction, leaving both parties feeling enriched and more connected. It's a reminder that even in the simplest of conversations, there's an opportunity to create something meaningful. Another aspect of building connection through uniqueness is the ability to adapt your approach based on the person and the situation. What works in one context might not resonate in another, so being attuned to the nuances of each interaction is key. This adaptability not only enhances your ability to connect, but also demonstrates emotional intelligence, a quality that is highly valued in both personal and professional relationships. When you tailor your words to the moment, it shows that you're paying attention, that you care enough to meet the other person where they are. Furthermore, embracing uniqueness in communication requires confidence. It's natural to feel hesitant about stepping away from the familiar, especially when there's a risk of being misunderstood. But it's this very willingness to take that risk that sets you apart. When you choose to approach conversations with boldness and creativity, you position yourself as someone who values depth and authenticity over conformity. This courage to be different is often what draws others to you, creating a sense of intrigue and admiration that strengthens the bond between you. The power of the first impression lies in its permanence. In the few seconds it takes to initiate a conversation, people subconsciously decide how they perceive you, whether they find you engaging, intriguing, or dismissible. Words have the unique ability to mold that perception, especially in how you choose to begin your interaction. Starting a conversation with intention isn't just about politeness, it's a deliberate strategy to make an impact, an opportunity to shape how you are remembered long after the conversation ends. It's a moment to project confidence, competence, and charisma, using the language you choose as your vehicle. When you start with uninspired phrases like "hi" or "what's up," you squander a golden moment to capture attention. These words are so commonplace that they fail to leave an imprint. The brain, wired to filter out what it deems unimportant, relegates such mundane beginnings to the category of forgettable noise. However, when you replace those words with something thoughtful or unexpected, you seize control of that first impression. Instead of blending into the backdrop of daily interactions, you step forward as someone worth noticing. Words delivered with intention create an atmosphere. They set a tone that the other person can't help but respond to. Consider the difference between saying hi and asking, "What's the most interesting thing you've encountered today?" The first is a default expression that requires little thought or effort, while the latter opens a door. It invites the other person to reflect, to engage, and to share something meaningful. By making this subtle shift in your approach, you create a connection that is rooted in curiosity and mutual respect. It's the difference between being ordinary and making a lasting impression. Intentional communication also involves recognizing the power dynamics inherent in every conversation. When you lead with words that convey purpose and clarity, you naturally position yourself as someone who knows their worth. This confidence is contagious. It encourages the other person to meet you on that level. It sets a standard for how they will engage with you moving forward, often leading to interactions that are more respectful, collaborative, and meaningful. On the contrary, a weak or indifferent opening can give the impression that you're unsure of yourself or uninterested in the conversation, which can result in the other person mirroring that energy. There's also a psychological element at play. People are drawn to those who display intention because it suggests thoughtfulness and focused qualities that are universally admired. When you choose your words with care, you're signaling that you value the interaction and, by extension, the person you're speaking with. This creates a sense of importance, making them more likely to invest their attention and energy into the conversation. It's a subtle but powerful way to build rapport and foster goodwill from the outset. Another dimension of starting with intention is the way it shapes the trajectory of the conversation. The opening words often dictate the flow of dialogue, acting as a guide for where the interaction will go. A casual "what's up" might lead to a similarly casual exchange, while a thoughtful question or statement sets the stage for a deeper, more meaningful discussion. This initial framing is crucial, especially in environments where time is limited and first impressions are critical. By leading with intention, you demonstrate an awareness of this dynamic and use it to your advantage. The art of intentional communication extends beyond the words themselves. It encompasses your tone, your body language, and your energy. Even the most carefully chosen phrase can fall flat if delivered without conviction or enthusiasm. Conversely, a simple statement can carry immense weight when spoken with confidence and sincerity. This is why presence matters so much. Being fully engaged in the moment allows your words to resonate more deeply. People respond not just to what you say, but to how you make them feel, and the emotions you evoke are often tied to the intentionality behind your words. Moreover, starting with intention creates a ripple effect. The person you're speaking with is likely to mirror the level of energy and focus you bring to the conversation. When you set a tone of purpose and thoughtfulness, it encourages them to rise to that level. This not only elevates the quality of the interaction, but also creates a sense of mutual respect and understanding. It's a way of silently communicating, "This moment matters, and so do you," which is a message that resonates deeply. Being intentional also means being prepared. It's about understanding the context of the interaction and tailoring your approach accordingly. Whether you're meeting someone for the first time, reconnecting with an old acquaintance, or initiating a professional dialogue, the words you choose should reflect the unique dynamics of that relationship. This preparation doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be as simple as thinking about what you want to convey and how you want to be perceived. This forethought allows you to approach the conversation with clarity, ensuring that your words align with your purpose. Intentional openings also serve as a filter, attracting the right kind of attention while gently discouraging superficial engagement. When you speak with purpose, you naturally draw in people who are aligned with your energy and values. These are the connections that matter, the ones that have the potential to grow into something meaningful. At the same time, your intentionality acts as a quiet boundary, signaling that you're not interested in wasting time on interactions that lack substance or authenticity. Finally, intentional communication is a skill that requires practice and refinement. It's not about being perfect, but about being deliberate. Each interaction is an opportunity to learn, to experiment with different approaches, and to observe what resonates with others. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, transforming the way you engage with the world. Instead of reacting passively, you take an active role in shaping your relationships and experiences. It's a shift in mindset that starts with a simple decision to approach every conversation with purpose, clarity, and intention. The subtleties of human interaction often hinge on the way our words influence the emotional state of others. Language has an incredible capacity to evoke feelings, shape perceptions, and drive responses. When we enter into a conversation, we are not just exchanging words, we are engaging in a dynamic interplay of emotions. Understanding the emotional power of our words and harnessing that power intentionally can be the difference between creating a connection or leaving no impact at all. Every word we speak carries a tone, an energy, and an implication, all of which contribute to the emotional atmosphere of the interaction. When you begin a conversation with thoughtful, emotionally attuned words, you create an immediate impact on the other person's state of mind. Words such as "hi" or "what's up" are emotionally neutral, neither uplifting nor inspiring. While they serve as functional greetings, they do little to elevate the emotional tone of the conversation. In contrast, when you open with a phrase that conveys genuine interest, warmth, or curiosity, you immediately set a positive emotional foundation. For example, asking, "What's the best part of your day so far?" or saying, "I was looking forward to talking with you," shifts the mood of the interaction. These words communicate care, attentiveness, and enthusiasm, which naturally draw the other person in and encourage a more engaged response. Emotionally intelligent communication begins with an awareness of how your words will be received. The goal is not just to convey your message, but to create an emotional resonance that fosters understanding and connection. This requires empathy, the ability to step into the other person's shoes and consider how they might feel upon hearing your words. By choosing language that aligns with their emotional state or gently elevates it, you demonstrate sensitivity and thoughtfulness. This not only makes the conversation more enjoyable, but also builds trust and rapport, which are foundational to meaningful relationships. The emotional impact of your words is also influenced by their delivery. Even the most carefully chosen phrase can fall flat if delivered in a monotone or with a distracted demeanor. Conversely, a simple statement can carry immense emotional weight when spoken with sincerity, warmth, and intention. Your tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language all contribute to the emotional message you're sending. When these elements are aligned with your words, the emotional impact is magnified. People are drawn to those who speak with authenticity because it feels genuine and safe, creating an emotional space where they can open up and connect more deeply. Another aspect of emotionally attuned communication is the way it fosters reciprocity. When you lead with words that evoke positive emotions, the other person is more likely to mirror that energy. This creates a cycle of mutual positivity where both parties feel valued and uplifted. For instance, starting with a compliment or a genuine expression of appreciation can set the tone for a conversation filled with kindness and goodwill. Even in difficult or challenging interactions, choosing words that acknowledge the other person's feelings and show respect can diffuse tension and pave the way for constructive dialogue. The emotional power of words extends beyond the immediate moment. The feelings you evoke in a conversation can linger long after the interaction has ended, shaping how the other person remembers you and the experience. This is why it's so important to be intentional with your language, especially in first impressions or critical conversations. When you make someone feel seen, heard, and valued, you create a positive emotional memory that strengthens your connection. On the other hand, careless or dismissive words can leave a negative impression that may be difficult to overcome. It's also worth noting that emotions are contagious. The energy you bring into a conversation is likely to influence the other person's emotional state. By starting with uplifting, empowering, or calming language, you can set the emotional tone for the interaction. This is particularly important in situations where the other person may be feeling stressed, anxious, or uncertain. Your words have the power to provide reassurance, comfort, or encouragement, creating an emotional shift that can change the trajectory of the entire conversation. Emotionally attuned communication also involves being mindful of the context and tailoring your words to fit the situation. A light-hearted greeting might be appropriate in a casual setting, while a more thoughtful or reflective opening may be better suited for serious discussions. The key is to align your language with the emotional needs of the moment, demonstrating both awareness and adaptability. This not only enhances the effectiveness of your communication, but also shows that you are present and attuned to the nuances of the interaction. The emotional impact of words is not limited to positive expressions. Negative or careless language can have a profound effect as well, often leaving lasting scars. This underscores the importance of being intentional with your words, even in moments of frustration or conflict. Choosing language that reflects your values and respects the other person's dignity can prevent unnecessary harm and foster mutual understanding. This doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations or sugarcoating the truth. Rather, it's about delivering your message in a way that minimizes harm and maximizes the potential for growth and resolution. Ultimately, the emotional power of words lies in their ability to connect us to one another. Whether it's through a heartfelt compliment, a thoughtful question, or an encouraging statement, the right words can bridge gaps, dissolve barriers, and strengthen bonds. They remind us of our shared humanity and create a sense of belonging that is both comforting and empowering. By approaching every conversation with an awareness of the emotional weight of our words, we can transform ordinary interactions into meaningful moments that leave a lasting impact. The nature of human communication is often misunderstood. Many people believe that a simple exchange of words is enough to convey meaning, but the reality is far more complex. Every conversation has layers of intent, emotion, and energy that go beyond the literal words spoken. One of the most powerful tools at your disposal is your ability to control how the conversation begins. The words you choose at the outset not only set the tone, but also influence the entire trajectory of the interaction. This is why starting with intention is so crucial. The way you begin a conversation is not just an opening, it's a chance to establish the direction in which you want the dialogue to move. It's an opportunity to direct the flow of energy and emotional resonance, ensuring that you are in control of how the interaction unfolds. Think about it. When you start with a bland or common greeting like "Hi" or "What's up," you are immediately giving away your power to the situation. These words, while polite and functional, do nothing to assert your presence or intent. They don't create a sense of anticipation or curiosity in the other person. They are neutral, and in some cases, they may even signal indifference. The truth is that you want to start with a level of energy that commands attention without being overbearing. You want to signal that the conversation you are about to have is not just another mundane exchange, but something that holds the potential for connection, growth, and even transformation. When you choose words that carry intent and purpose, you elevate the conversation from the realm of the ordinary to the extraordinary. Instead of allowing the interaction to be driven by default, you step in and assert a level of significance. The phrase you use can be something as simple as, "I've been looking forward to talking with you," or "I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this." These small shifts in language do more than just add variety to your greetings. They position you as someone who values the interaction. They send a message that you are not just passing through, but are present, engaged, and ready to invest in the conversation. The other person picks up on this energy, and suddenly the dialogue becomes an exchange of ideas, energy, and connection rather than just words floating in space. This shift in how you begin a conversation also has a profound impact on how the other person perceives you. When you open with intentionality, you immediately communicate that you are someone who understands the value of your time and their time. You are not just speaking for the sake of speaking, but you are speaking with purpose. This makes you stand out in a world where so many conversations are driven by a lack of purpose or emotional investment. People want to engage with others who demonstrate an awareness of how precious time is and who understand that every interaction is an opportunity to build something meaningful. When you start with intention, you signal that you are someone worth engaging with, someone who brings value to the table, and someone who expects that same level of engagement in return. In addition to signaling your own presence and intent, the words you choose also influence the energy of the conversation itself. Conversations, like all human interactions, are energy exchanges. The way you begin dictates the tone of that energy. If you open with a neutral or indifferent greeting, the energy in the room remains flat. It doesn't excite or stir anything in the other person. However, when you begin with a phrase that invokes curiosity, positivity, or purpose, you ignite an energetic spark. The other person responds in kind, and suddenly the conversation is alive with mutual interest and engagement. This shift in energy can make all the difference in how the conversation unfolds and how both parties feel by the end of it. It's also important to note that starting with intention is not just about how you begin a single conversation, it's about cultivating a mindset that pervades your interactions. When you consistently start conversations with intention, you build a reputation as someone who is always present, always engaged, and always respectful of the time and energy of others. This mindset becomes a part of your identity, and it influences not only how you communicate, but how others perceive and interact with you. People will begin to look forward to their conversations with you because they know that they will not be met with empty words or shallow exchanges. They will experience a level of depth, engagement, and thoughtfulness that is rare in today's fast-paced, often superficial world. There is also a deep psychological component to how we begin conversations. Our brains are wired to respond to certain stimuli in predictable ways. When you open a conversation with words that are meaningful and intentional, you tap into the brain's natural tendency to seek out connection and understanding. The brain is constantly evaluating situations, looking for cues about how to react and how to engage. When you speak with purpose, you create a sense of safety and openness that encourages the other person to lower their defenses and engage with you more authentically. The brain senses that this is not just another routine interaction, and it becomes more receptive to what you have to say. This receptivity creates a space for deeper connection and understanding, where both parties feel comfortable expressing themselves freely. Furthermore, starting with intention allows you to control the quality of the interaction. If you open with a question or a statement that is thoughtful, intriguing, or relevant, you immediately set the stage for a conversation that holds value. It's not just about exchanging pleasantries, it's about exchanging insights, ideas, and experiences that can lead to growth and transformation. This is especially important in professional settings, where the quality of your interactions can have a direct impact on your success. By beginning every conversation with the intention to build rapport, to connect, and to engage meaningfully, you lay the foundation for long-term success and positive relationships. The key takeaway here is that starting with intention is not a one-time tactic, but a lifestyle choice. It's about bringing purpose and awareness to every conversation you engage in, recognizing that the words you speak at the outset carry weight. It's about creating a level of energy and emotional resonance that elevates the interaction and makes it meaningful. It's about being present in the moment, knowing that the words you choose can shape the entire dynamic of the conversation. And it's about recognizing that the way you begin determines the way you are perceived, how others respond to you, and the lasting impression you leave behind. One of the most powerful and transformative aspects of human interaction is the ability to influence the emotional landscape of a conversation. Each word you speak carries a specific emotional energy that can either uplift, diminish, or neutralize the emotional state of those involved in the conversation. When you enter a dialogue, you are not just exchanging words, you are sharing energy, emotion, and intention. The way you start a conversation, the words you choose, and the emotional tone you set can have a profound impact on how the rest of the interaction unfolds. It's an incredibly subtle yet powerful tool that allows you to not only communicate ideas, but also influence the emotional dynamics between you and the other person. A seemingly simple exchange, such as a greeting, can be loaded with emotional energy. Take, for example, a common greeting like "Hi" or "What's up?" These words are functional. They serve as social norms, a quick acknowledgement of someone's presence. But they do very little to influence the emotional tone of the interaction. There is no emotional charge to them. They are neutral. In many cases, these types of greetings can lead to interactions that are somewhat superficial, where both parties remain distant or disengaged, lacking any emotional depth or connection. The energy of the exchange remains flat and unremarkable, often leading to conversations that feel robotic or uninspired. Now, consider the alternative, using words that bring a higher level of intention and emotional resonance. Instead of "Hi," you might say, "It's great to see you. How's everything going?" This greeting is not only acknowledging the other person's presence, but also expressing warmth and genuine interest. It immediately conveys that you are present and engaged, that you are open to the other person's emotional state and want to connect on a deeper level. It's not just a polite exchange, it's an invitation to engage emotionally. This kind of greeting sets the tone for the entire conversation, creating a space where both parties are more likely to open up, share freely, and connect on a meaningful level. The emotional energy that you bring to the conversation, especially at the outset, is incredibly important. It is said that emotions are contagious. If you enter a conversation with a positive, uplifting energy, the person you are interacting with will likely mirror that energy. This is the subtle power of emotional influence at play. People naturally gravitate toward those who bring positivity, warmth, and kindness into a conversation. They feel safe, understood, and valued. On the other hand, if you start with a neutral or indifferent tone, you risk having the conversation remain flat or lifeless. The energy of the conversation will mirror the energy you put into it. When you begin with intention, you are actively shaping the emotional environment of the conversation. Instead of reacting to the situation and allowing the conversation to unfold randomly, you are taking control of the emotional direction. This doesn't mean you're controlling the other person's emotions, but rather you are creating a space where positive emotions can thrive. It's a subtle but impactful act of emotional leadership. Just as a leader in a group can inspire others to feel motivated and empowered, you can inspire others to feel valued, understood, and engaged through your choice of words. Your words set the stage for what is to come. The way you open a conversation can determine whether it feels like a mundane exchange or an opportunity for connection. If you open with a simple "What's up?" it might leave the other person feeling that the interaction is going to be surface level, a quick chat with no real depth. However, if you begin with words that show interest in the other person's well-being, such as "How's your day been?" or "I was thinking about you, how's everything going on your end?" you signal that this interaction has more value. It shows that you are not just fulfilling a social obligation, but that you care about the person in front of you. Your words become a reflection of your attentiveness and emotional investment in the conversation. It's also important to recognize that the emotional impact of your words doesn't just apply to greetings. It extends to the entire conversation. Every word you speak contributes to the emotional tone that is being created. When you choose words that acknowledge the other person's feelings or validate their experiences, you deepen the emotional connection. For example, saying, I understand how that must feel, or that sounds challenging. How are you managing? Demonstrates empathy and shows that you are emotionally in tune with what they are saying. These words have the power to calm, reassure, and build trust. They are not just words, they are emotional bridges that bring people closer together. When you show empathy and understanding, you create a safe space where the other person feels comfortable opening up and sharing more deeply. Furthermore, being mindful of the emotional power of your words means recognizing the effect they have on your own emotional state. When you begin a conversation with the intention to uplift, inspire, or engage, you are also setting a positive tone for yourself. The way you communicate can influence your own emotions. For example, when you speak with warmth and kindness, it's not just the other person who benefits, it has a reciprocal effect on you. Your emotional state becomes more aligned with the positive energy you are putting out into the conversation. This leads to a more fulfilling interaction for both parties. In addition, the emotional power of your words can leave a lasting impact long after the conversation has ended. People will remember how you made them feel during the interaction. If you've created an emotional atmosphere that is uplifting and positive, they will carry that energy with them, associating it with you. They will remember you as someone who is emotionally intelligent, someone who knows how to make others feel seen, heard, and valued. This is the long-lasting impact of emotional communication. It's not just about what you say in the moment, it's about how you make people feel and how those feelings ripple out into their lives. By harnessing the emotional power of your words, you don't just enhance the quality of individual conversations, you also create a ripple effect that can transform your relationships, both personal and professional. When people feel emotionally connected to you, they are more likely to respond positively, to open up, and to trust you. This fosters deeper, more meaningful relationships that are built on mutual understanding and respect. Your ability to influence the emotional dynamics of a conversation creates a foundation for stronger connections and more fulfilling interactions, making you a magnetic presence in the lives of those around you.